Welcome in Elena Getzenberg, who was at Buffalo's practice today. Elena, what did you see from Allen on the field out there?
Laura, this practice was Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. It was a very normal practice. You wouldn't really have known that his hand was an issue if not for that glove that you mentioned. Now, he did have his ring finger and his middle finger taped up along with that glove and some wrapping. But I asked Coach Sean McDermott, is there anything you want to see from Allen out at practice to make you feel comfortable? And it was just doing normal things, he said. And Allen did that. He took snaps under center. He was in the shotgun, doing his normal things, passing with receivers, and even doing his usual handshakes with them. So it was really not much out of the norm. During the portion that the media was out there, which is that throwing session, it was really a normal Josh Allen practice. He wasn't, using that left hand too much, but as you said, it's his non-throwing hand. He's not really doing that anyway. When I talked to left tackle Dion Dawkins, is there any concern we've got your quarterback injured? And he kind of laughed at me a little. He was like, did you see him leap in week 1? Josh is Josh. There's no concern here.
He's used to being a tough guy out there. Thanks to Elena for the latest on Josh Allen. We'll keep an eye on it either way, but it feels like he's going to be just fine. Dan and Hawk have something special for us today on Allen and that Bills offense. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, if you know Josh at all, and with that left hand injury, thank God he's not playing the golf game Buffalo that he loves to play. Now to the field. Buffalo got a guy in Keon Coleman, their rookie receiver out of Florida State. I want to show 4 routes because it was a little unknown. Was he going to transfer receiver-wise into the NFL? First route, I want everyone to see this is the shallow cross. What's he do well? What's he got to work on for their offense?
Great in the coverage recognition. He sees this man-to-man. What he needs to work on is taking a negative angle versus taking what we call a yak angle. You see green grass, take advantage of it, get the ball, stay on the move. You probably can make this play 5 yards more.
So you're saying you don't want him to come back towards the line of scrimmage on this because he's got green grass space. You want him to keep flat, or if not, drift up a little field to go get as much yards as possible.
Absolutely, because Josh Allen's going to see that. He's going to put it out in front of him. And again, the result will be probably 5 yards more down the field before he gets out of bounds.
Love the recognition. Now let's go to the bottom of the screen. We're going to run stop route versus man coverage. What's he do well? What's he got to work on?
I mean, the beautiful thing about Keon Cole is that he is physical, right? He holds the line. He holds this positioning with the defensive back. Sudden out of his break.
Love it.
Creates a throwing lane.
Okay.
Now, where I would coach him up is that right here, this kind of dance, uncertainty that you're doing in the NFL, it doesn't work. Josh Allen's putting on your outside shoulder. You catch because he's helping you out.
And you're saying get vertical right now. Either way, you're fine. Just find a way to get vertical as quickly as possible.
Catch and go.
Okay. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is a little bit of almost a slot stop route. He's going to be in the slot up top, and you're going to get a little short motion, and he's just going to try to replace essentially a zone defender.
So it's the same thing. With rookie receivers, you're curious if they have the ability to recognize the coverage and what they're supposed to do. So he attacks that defender.
Love that.
He sees it's the zone. He sits in the hole perfectly. Josh Allen sees it, puts it on him. Same coaching point, right? Yeah, you have players coming, but you see he catches and he kind of pauses to look.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the NFL, especially in the red zone.
So you're saying
catch, get vertical. Immediately, almost even before you catch the ball. I'm going to reposition my feet as I'm catching so I can catch and dice for as many yards as possible.
Jamar Chase, one of the best in the NFL doing that now. We've seen the go route, the stop route versus man. This time we're going to get the go route versus man coverage.
So it's something to build off because when you remember watching him on the stop route, right, you've seen how physical he was and what we call he held the line. This is a great catch. Obviously, was what I love about it. Incredible catch, incredible play on the ball, which we know he does really well. What I would coach him on and say, hey, you are running this hump. You're making that an impossible throw. And if it's not Josh Allen, the quarterback's probably not going to be able to get you that ball.
That's the way, I look at it, he starts basically on the bottom of the numbers, and it almost looks like he's allowing that defensive back to push him to the sideline. You're saying squeeze that DB inside?
Absolutely, conceding way too much space. Look where he's at when this ball is there.
Yeah.
This is either, if it's not inside, it's going to be out of bounds. It's an impossible throw. That's the only place Josh Allen can put it, as opposed to him being strong and physical like he is, getting on the outside shoulder and holding his positioning so that Josh Allen has the choice.
So there's something good. There's some good to work off. The recognition, the understanding. You saw some of the toughness and the contested catches, the strength, but sounds like the refining element of route running, there's going to be growth there.
Absolutely. That's what you get with rookies.
Groz, what more can you tell us about Darnold's preparation for Minnesota's opener?
Yeah, that was one of my training camp stops, and I talked to Kevin O'Connell about Sam Darnold when I was there, and he's a sympathizer. He really felt like he was going to be good, and he felt like he did mention that last year in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, and seeing Sam Darnold as a player who, as he told me, has gotten to the point where he can compartmentalize each stop on his journey, the good and the bad, and kind of take from each, and then he talked about what he just mentioned in that press conference about sort of seeing how far they can push him mentally, right, and to the point where he really feels, Sam does, like he has ownership of the offense. O'Connell and that crew, that's where they want their quarterbacks to be, and they felt really good about Darnold's progress and that he was going to hit the ground running in week 1. I was there before J.J. McCarthy got hurt, Dan, and they were planning to start Sam Darnold week 1. Like, unless something like crazy happened the rest of camp, they felt really good about where Darnold will be at this point.
I think he's done a remarkable job, week 1, of marrying his feet to the pass concept. And that's a lost art right now in the NFL. I remember in Carolina, Sam was bad at this, and he's really taken great growth. Okay, seam routes. Under center, watch his feet, okay? The marrying of his feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one hitch, ball has to come out. 2.5 seconds. That's exactly how that route has to be thrown. Now a deep corner. This time it has to be 1, 2, 3 in the gun, 2 hitches at the top. 1, 2, 3, hitch, ball comes out. 3.4 seconds. That's exactly how the quarterback has to play in this offense. Deep 15-yard out. Now in the gun, this has to be 3 steps. Watch his feet with 2 hitches. Excuse me, 1 hitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ball out. Sam really struggled with this early on. He really struggled with it in Carolina. I remember doing a breakdown of Sam being ready to throw because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch, and the receivers weren't even close to the routes. You know this.
Yeah.
I think it's a lost art in much of the NFL right now. Yep. And he's really grown when it comes to, okay, my route has to, my drop has to have this type of pace with this type of feel, and I have to be ready to throw at this moment, marrying it with those routes. That's why you see some of the talent start to shine for a young guy that can throw it.
To your point, it feels like Sam Darnold is getting delayed development. Like, he's getting the development now in these last couple of years that you wish he would have got when he was with the New York Jets.
Kevin O'Connell.
Exactly, because to your point about his footwork, how it marries up with the play, he's playing like a quarterback who is confident in the play calls, who is confident in the coaching, and realizes this is not all on my shoulders. So if I just do what I'm told and I'm efficient, my receivers are going to be where they need to be. And that year in San Francisco, coupled with this week 1 performance, which was masterful, that 99-yard drive was very, very special. Now, my question for him is, it does not surprise me that someone with his physical tools can flash the way that he did in week 1.
The consistency.
Consistency is what will be the
I think that's a fair question. I think the way that the feet looked in week 1, that tells me that is going to be a part of his game this year.
Right.
And the offensive line being as good as they are.
Remember, they have the 49ers coming up. They have the Texans after that, the Packers, maybe by that point Jordan Love's back. So he's got some more tests here. We'll really see how good he is. Every Tuesday, taking a moment to figure out what went wrong for some of the losing teams from the weekend. We're going to start with the Bengals, who lost at home against New England. Hawk, give us something specific that was costly for Cincinnati.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals under Joe Burrow's watch have typically started slow in the season, but this seemed even more out of sync than usual. It was very clear there was no T. Higgins. Jamar Chase just recently showed up for this game. And then for Joe Burrow specifically, he seemed apprehensive to push the ball down the field. And that was an issue, especially in that last drive where there was open receivers. Jamar Chase ran a double move. And this could have been a huge play for the Bengals. And Joe Burrow was just nervous to make that. And, he took some sacks and pushed plays that he shouldn't have.
Go to the Colts. They lost their opener at home against Houston. What went wrong there, Dan?
Well, Anthony Richardson had moments when there's a hesitation to get through some progressions, okay? He's got to realize when you go pull the trigger in this league, guys are following. You're going to have a post, really Pittman Jr. work in the middle of the field on like a press in and run away in a flat route. At the top of his drop, he goes to throw it right there. Hey, well, you recoil in this league with a defender, he's going to snap his eyes back, almost gets an interception. I would love to see him kick that ball to the flat. Now we're going to get a seam release out route. We're going to get a mesh in the middle and then a check down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now as you go to pull the trigger and it's not there and you got to move in the pocket, find your check down, get through a progression. Don't get stuck in thinking you're going to run away from everybody on defense. There was a lot of really, really, really good stuff from Anthony Richardson. And I would argue some of the misses that I saw during the game on tape were a little bit more of slips by his offensive players. But I think the more he gets grasp of getting through progressions 1 to 2 to 3 quicker, you're going to see him really start to take off.